All right, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year's Eve. Let's talk about some Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford, and the PBC pushing to make the fight in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please accept my invitation to subscribe. You can hit the bell icon to do that. And also thank you thank you so much to everybody that has recently joined the channel with the join button here. Also, thank you so much to the Patreon community and the live stream community. Make sure you come by OG Boxing Talk this Sunday, 8 a.m. with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Trap House Boxing, and Curtis Anderson. We will be wrapping up the weekend boxing, and there's actually some really good fights coming up this weekend. I'm going to make a video later on today about Gervonta Davis and Yuriorkis Gamboa, who was on a double feature, who also has a good fight. There's a fight on the undercard that's going to be really good. That's Jean Pascal and Badu Jack. I think that's going to be one of the more underrated, very, very good fights that we get to see this year. Now, let's get on to what Shawn Porter said. Shawn Porter's father, manager, and trainer, Kenny Porter, said about the Terence Crawford fight. And what he said was that the PBC gave them the green light to make the fight. So he's wanting the call from Top Rank and Terence Crawford's team to make that fight. This was said a couple days ago, but I just heard about it on Christmas Eve, and I swear to goodness, man, this is what I want for next year. Of all the very, very good fights that can be made in boxing, this is the number one fight that I want to see made in boxing. Terence Bud Crawford and Shawn Porter. I believe that Terence Crawford is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And also, I got a text in the middle of this video. I have so much stuff going on today. I can't edit this out, so forgive me. But Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford is the fight that I really, really want this year. And it's because I think that Terence Crawford is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And at the same time, I don't think that he's fought anybody significant in a good amount of time, man. I was on a real big high from Terence Crawford when he won Undisputed Championship at 140 pounds. But so far, the 140 pound landscape and what he's done at 140 pounds, for me, has been predictably disappointing. And the reason I say it's predictably disappointing is because he's with Top Rank, and you can see when he left the 140 pound division and came into the 147 pound division that there wasn't going to be a lot of people for him to fight. And I did not have, nor do I have, a lot of faith in Bob Arum, and specifically in his desire to make big fights and spend his resources on fights for Terence Crawford. I think that and I've said this on a bunch of videos, but I'm going to keep on saying it, his interests lie elsewhere, specifically with Vasily Lomachenko, and now I do believe with Teofimo Lopez and the things that they're doing in a weight class that they really do kind of monopolize, which is the lightweight division. And not so much, but in the 147 pound division, he really doesn't have anybody for Terence Crawford to fight. And as a result, Terence Crawford hasn't fought anybody at 147. This is something that was predictable, and something that was predictable that came to fruition. So a fight with Shawn Porter, for me, solves a lot of problems. One, I criticize him for being Terence Crawford for not having fought anybody at 147. But yet I also call him the pound for pound number one fighter in the world. And I keep getting people that act as if those two things, you cannot be the same thing, that those both can't be true at the same time. So I get people that hate on me for saying that the dude's number one pound for pound because he ain't fought anybody. but then at 147. And then I have people that saying I'm hating on him because I'm telling you that he ain't fought anybody in 147. So for me, it's like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place with Terence Crawford. And this fight for Shawn Porter, quite honestly, will set me free. Because if he beats Shawn Porter, if he beats Shawn Porter, he adds weight to both. He kills one argument and adds weight to the other. He kills the argument that he hasn't fought anybody in 147 pounds, because you can't find anybody in 147 pounds that has fought more and fought more top level guys and performed well against more top level guys at 147 pounds than Shawn Porter has. Shawn Porter is definitely not a gatekeeper. Shawn Porter is one of the top guys at 147 pounds. He's beaten Danny Garcia. He's fought Keith Thurman in a very good fight that some people think that he won. He fought Errol Spence Jr. in a very competitive fight that some people thought he won. He fought Kell Brook in a very good fight. I think Kell Brook won that fight, but that was a very good fight with Kell Brook. I mean, he's literally been in there with everybody. And a fight with Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, especially if Terence Crawford can really shine and look terrific and dominate Shawn Porter, just goes, man, it goes a very, very long way to solidifying this guy in the position that I think that he already deserves, which is the pound for pound #1 position. And also it solves a big problem for him as well, that it gets rid of the fact that he basically does not have anybody else to fight. Let's just be real about it. Terence Crawford does not have anybody else to fight. Also, Shawn Porter, it's very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to get a decent fight for Shawn Porter either. Terence, I mean, on the top rank side, I mean, the only other option, really the options for either one of those guys at this point in time for their next fight, which, could take place in the next 4 or 5 months, is Ugas. And I do believe that Yordenis Ugas, the Cuban fighter who fought Shawn Porter in his defense of the WBC belt, I do believe that he actually already has a fight coming up. So Yordenis Ugas might also be unavailable. So this really solves a problem. And now the fact that Kenny Porter said this can really squash some conversations on about whether or not Shawn Porter wants that fight or not. Because I will take, as far as who they're going to fight, I would take Kenny Porter's word just as quickly as I would take Shawn Porter's word about who Shawn Porter is going to fight next, because Kenny Porter as his manager and as his father he's not just going to go out there and say that they're willing to do something that I don't believe he's going to just jump out there and say that they're willing to do something that Shawn Porter isn't really willing to do. And that therefore kills one of the most ridiculous arguments that I've heard for a fight not being made in my time watching boxing, which is that we're not going to fight because we're friends. That is a ridiculous argument. That is a statement that shouldn't even be made. I could understand if they were the Charlo brothers or if they were the Klitschko brothers, right? Klitschko brothers. And that's why, side issue, that whole lineal, Vladimir Klitschko being the lineal championship, that's the basis of that being nonsense. Because the two best fighters at the time in heavyweight were Vitaly Klitschko and Vladimir Klitschko. And there was no doubt about it. And Vitaly was active during the time that people said Vladimir Klitschko became the lineal champion. But they would have had to fight each other because they held all the belts. The two of them held the belts, not anybody else. And the two of them were the best heavyweights, not anybody else. But it was reasonable because they were brothers and they could not fight. That is not the case with Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford. They are not brothers. They are just friends. And there are all kind of people who are friends that fight. Actually, dude, you got people who are brothers that will spar each other. My understanding is the Charlo brothers, who are obviously not going to fight in the ring, will spar each other in sparring matches. So it's not like family members don't ever fight, but they're not going to go for the kill in a boxing ring. But dude, if they're willing to spar, if they're willing to fight each other, come on, man, on face value, it's ridiculous. Just on the face value, it's ridiculous. And So the fact that Shawn Porter said this, or Shawn Porter's manager said this, tells you that if it is the case, if Terence Crawford keeps saying it, it's Terence Crawford that doesn't want to fight Shawn Porter, not Shawn Porter's team. It's Terence Crawford that doesn't want that fight, and that will say volumes about Terence Crawford. And maybe that the fact that he's not fighting guys at 147 has something more to do, is not only is just something that I can dump on top of a Bob Arum, might have to share some responsibility with Terence Crawford on that. But anyway, this is the fight I want for Christmas. If Kenny Porter says that the PBC has cleared the fight, wants the fight, and they're willing to do it, and Top Rank to call, Top Rank, make the call, man. Make the call so we can get this excellent fight that can answer a lot of questions in the welterweight division. And with that, let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'm out. Peace.